The best way to improve your English conversational skills is to take part in an English conversation. Of course, you might not get the chance to do that if you don't live in an English-speaking country, but this video will help you solve that. First, sit back, relax, and just listen to a conversation that takes place in a taxi in the city of Liverpool, England. Don't worry if you don't understand everything that you hear in this conversation, because afterwards we'll go through all the difficult words and phrases that you might not have heard before, and we'll also include some pronunciation tips so that you can understand and be understood by native English speakers. Finally, the most important part of the whole video is where you get to take part in that conversation, and this will really boost your speaking skills. Hi, I'm Steve. Let's do this. Hi, where to?
The Hilton Hotel, please.
Which one? There's a couple in the city.
Hang on, I'll check my phone. Here it is. It's the one by the river.
No problem.
Can you tell me, do I have to wear a seatbelt?
No, you don't have to, but it'd be a good idea.
Okay, I'll put it on. How long will it take to get there?
I'm afraid the city is rammed because of a football match, so it'll probably take about half an hour.
No worries, I'm not in a rush.
Are you in town for business?
No, I'm here for a long weekend sightseeing.
Lovely. Liverpool's quite a small city, so it's a breeze to get round. It won't take you long to find your feet, and there's tons to do.
That's what I've heard. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, you can't come to Liverpool without going on the famous Mersey Ferry. Have you heard of it?
Yes, that definitely rings a bell. Anything else?
There are loads of museums to visit if that sort of thing floats your boat.
I love visiting museums, but aren't they a little pricey?
No, on the contrary, all the museums in Liverpool are book-shy.
That's amazing. I'd really like to see a show while I'm here as well.
Well, then you're in the right city. There are loads of theatres, but that's not really my thing, so I'm not sure what's on at the moment.
That's okay. I'll look it up on Google. Can you suggest any good places to eat?
There are restaurants serving food from all over the world here in Liverpool, so the best thing to do is just to play it by ear.
It sounds like a weekend won't be enough time.
Well, you'll certainly have to hit the ground running so as not to miss anything. Here we are, the Hilton Hotel.
How much do I owe you?
That'll be £18.55, please.
Here's 20. Keep the change.
Cheers. Now let's take a few minutes to go through some of the words and phrases that were used in that conversation that you might not have heard before. And we'll also include some pronunciation tips so that you can feel more comfortable when you have a conversation with a native English speaker. Let's start with the greetings that we heard being used in that conversation. And I'm sure greetings were one of the first things you were taught when you first started learning English. Perhaps you were taught to use words like hello, phrases like how are you, or even how do you do, which are grammatically correct, but they're quite formal. It's far more common simply to say hi, or even are you alright, which can be shortened down to just the word alright. Notice when we say that word, the L is silent and it just becomes or right. Alright. You try. Alright. You can even use alright in response to being asked how you are.
Are you all right?
Alright. To find out everything you need to know about greetings, check out this video on the channel. It'll really help you sound more natural. In the conversation, we heard the passenger say, "Hang on a minute," and hang on is a phrasal verb that's really common in the UK. It's used to mean, can you wait for a short time? Hang on. Notice that to say it naturally, move the G from the end of hang to the front of on, so it becomes hang on. Hang on. You try. Hang on. Are you coming?
Hang on, I'll just get my keys.
The passenger also asked if they had to wear a seatbelt. This expression have to is exactly the same as the expression must. In other words, there's a rule or something else that forces you to do it. Perhaps it's the law. When you go to a different country, you have to show your passport. Or it could be something as simple as you have to breathe to stay alive. So how do you know which one to use, have to or must? Well, there's a general rule. If you're going to say it, say have to. And if you're going to write it down, say must. So the taxi driver said, "No, you don't have to, but it'd be a good idea." But on an aeroplane, the sign would probably say, "You must wear a seatbelt." The journey was taking longer than usual because the city was rammed, which is another way of saying it was very busy. It was rammed. Liverpool was described as being a breeze to get around. And if something is a breeze, it means it's easy. To show your support for this channel is a breeze. Just click the like button. We heard an English idiom, to find your feet. And to find your feet means to get comfortable with the situation. If you start a new school or a new job, it might take you a few weeks to find your feet. Now, native English speakers are basically lazy when they talk. So we like to reduce things down. And one of the main ways we do that is by using the schwa sound. That's that little sound that's the most common sound in the whole of the English language. And this idiom, to find your feet, has two schwa sounds in it. The first is the O at the end of to, so that becomes t. And we've replaced the O-U-R at the end of your with a simple schwa sound. So instead of your, it becomes y. This makes the idiom sound like this. To find your feet. You try. To find your feet. Hopefully you can hear how much more natural and fast that sounds. To find your feet. We heard two alternatives to using the word lot in the conversation. One was tons and the other was loads.
Steve, is there loads of time left?
Yes, tons. We heard one of the taxi driver's recommendations was to go on the Mersey ferry. And the Mersey is the name of the river that runs through Liverpool. And a ferry is a passenger boat that takes people across a river. This is the Mersey ferry. The passenger said it rings a bell, which is a funny idiom that means they sort of remember it, or it seems familiar to them. It rings a bell.
Do you remember me saying that I was changing my job?
It rings a bell. We heard a lovely English expression, to float your boat. That sounds so good to say, to float your boat. And if something floats your boat, it means it's something you like and enjoy doing. It floats your boat. The passenger was scared that the museums might be pricey, which is another way of saying expensive. But the driver reassured them that on the contrary, which means the opposite of what was thought, the museums are all bookshy, which is another way of saying they're all free. To save you writing notes, there's a PDF that contains all the vocabulary that's used in this video, and I'll leave a link in the description below. If you describe something as being your thing, it means you like it, you enjoy doing it. Walking the dogs in the park is my thing. Playing the guitar is my thing. Listening to the opera is not my thing. Let me know in the comments what's your thing. If you play something by ear, it means you haven't planned it in advance. You're going to play it by ear.
What time are you going to bed?
I'm going to play it by ear. And to hit the ground running means you're going to start a task straight away with no hesitation and go full speed. To hit the ground running. The fare for the taxi ride was £18.55. This could have also been pronounced £18.55p or simply 18.55. For everything you need to know about British money, check out this video on the channel. Next, let's improve your speaking skills by getting you to take part in that conversation. Your words will appear on the screen as you need them. And for the best results, speak out loud. Hi, where to? Which one? There's a couple in the city. No problem. No, you don't have to, but it'd be a good idea. I'm afraid the city is rammed because of a football match, so it'll probably take about half an hour. Are you in town for business? Lovely. Liverpool's quite a small city, so it's a breeze to get round. It won't take you long to find your feet, and there's tons to do. Well, you can't come to Liverpool without going on the famous Mersey ferry. Have you heard of it? There are loads of museums to visit if that sort of thing floats your boat. No, on the contrary, all the museums in Liverpool are book-shy. Well, then you're in the right city. There are loads of theatres, but that's not really my thing, so I'm not sure what's on at the moment. There are restaurants serving food from all over the world here in Liverpool, so the best thing to do is just to play it by ear. Well, you'll certainly have to hit the ground running so as not to miss anything. Here we are, the Hilton Hotel. That'll be £18.55, please. Cheers. Thanks for watching. To boost your English, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. You can find the link in the first comment. I'll see you next time.